I have just made 20 videos in this series. That's a lot. Let's celebrate by talking about the Five Doctors on its own. The reason why I've decided to do this for Crown Jewels is because it's a special, it's not part of any season. Yeah, it probably would be part of the same box set as the Season 20 Blu-ray, but K9 and Company was for Season 18, and no one's saying that's part of Season 18, are they? And Sharda for Season 17, come to mention it, although that was actually meant to be designed to be part of this season. The Five Doctors is a special. Because that's how that works. Sure, you can lump it together with Season 20 as a season, and I would if I had to, but I don't have to, so why should I count specials as not specials, you know? Because they're called specials for a reason, they're called series finales for a reason. If The King's Demons was the season finale of Season 20, but Five Doctors was also Season 20, it wouldn't be a finale, would it? These words exist for a reason, and I'm using them properly. Anyways, the Five Doctors. My copy's signed by Peter Davison. If you're like me, and you've been watching Doctor Who for a long time, especially classic Doctor Who specifically, for as long as I have, which has been close to 15 years now? That or longer, to be honest. You've probably seen this one a billion times. The Five Doctors is just so... It's a comfortable story. It's very comforting. It has all this iconography that you recognise, all woven together in a way that plot-wise makes sense, with nothing really being mishandled, I would say. Now, is it just fan wank? No. Is it mostly fan wank? Yes. The plot is not very strong, but that's not what this is designed to be. It's designed to be a celebration of 20 years of Doctor Who, and I think it does that. It does manage to circumvent the lack of 7 of those 20 years being personified by including Sarah Jane, who was in there, and by including K9, who was in there for another bit of it, as well as reusing footage of Sharda. It makes sure to justify to the uninitiated what things are, because it's been a few years since we've seen a Dalek. They mention a Dalek. Like, it's implied that the old man we see at the start, that's Doctor Who. The characters that are called the Doctor are the Doctor, you know? And chances are you probably know them because they had a lot of press coverage leading up to this, so you probably recognise them as the Doctor. And any companion who hasn't been in the show for a while, any one of them that's brought back, basically is mentioned. Like, who the hell is this Susan? She's calling the Doctor grandfather. It's the Doctor's granddaughter. To be fair, the Brigadier did appear in the season prior. But reminiscing about old times, justifying why this Doctor is with the Brigadier, makes sense. I feel like Sarah Jane is a bit less justified, but she is the most famous companion. She always has been since her introduction. And she also recently had a spin-off. The reason why K9's there isn't really justified, but at the same time, it was it in School Reunion. You know, the Phantoms of the Past scene, you know, everything in there is basically done in such a way where new viewers wouldn't get lost. And I've never really had a hard time following the Five Doctors, not even when I first watched it, which it was my first classic Who story. I think. It was either that or the Two Doctors. I both got them at the same time, so it was going to be... basically, you know, it's not... And if I'm not lost on this being the first story out of the first 20 years of the show that I watch, it says a lot about Terrance Dicks as a writer, the values he had when it came to honouring the show's legacy. Because now as someone who has seen every episode of Doctor Who, I feel like it adequately represents the show in a concise 90 minutes. It doesn't do everything, but if it did everything, then it wouldn't really be, penetrable to someone who doesn't know the lore. Something that I will forever credit the DVD for is by having a documentary that explains all of the references, and it being narrated by Paul McGann. Icing on the top. For the record, I watched the original broadcast version for this. I, like a lot of fans, find the effects a lot more charming than the updated special effects stuff, but the updated special effects stuff is good, and also it's an extended edition. I didn't feel like watching the extended version. I just felt like, setting aside those 90 minutes for watching, I don't really know what I could say about this other than what's already been said. It does what it needs to do flawlessly, I'd say. And the thing is, a lot of people take Doctor Who very seriously in this community. I try not to, but I will admit I do value stories that could be much deeper analysed in terms of what they creatively bring to the table, as opposed to a checklist of things that the fans can get. And I do feel like that's a cynical thing that franchises nowadays tend to just do. You can't go one Marvel movie without a bajillion references to the comics or previous Marvel movies, or movies that are yet to come. But here, I feel like it was done... Well, first of all, anniversaries I feel like aren't an excuse. I think you can get away with it if there's a special occasion that you're trying to celebrate. But... And not only that, I feel like this story handled all that beautifully. And sure, this may be nostalgia making me feel good about it, but I don't think it's a bad thing that it's just fan wank, pretty much. It's not just fan wank, as I said. It has a plot, the characters are well done. That's about it outside of the fan wank. But I should not say fan wank too much. Someone's kid might overhear me say this. I apologize to you specifically, Phil. You know who you are. Yeah, it's not just that. It's not just fan service. It's heartfelt, and what it's trying to do, it does perfectly, and I like it. I just do. I would say it's one of my favourite Fifth Doctor stories, which one might say it says a lot about the rest of the era, but at the same time, it does say something, but it's not entire. I do enjoy watching the Fifth Doctor's run, but this is a particular highlight. So yeah, this will be indicative about how I cover specials. If there's a group of specials back to back, I'll be covering them in a group. I'll also group together all the Christmas specials that aren't included as part of that. And by that I also mean the first two Jodie Dalek stories. So yeah, specials will be grouped together in certain ways. This is a solitary thing, so I'll group it together in that way, of just it on its own. Does it have a crown jewel? Yes. Itself. So yeah, I hope that makes you look forward to particularly the 2009 and 2022 specials, because the 2013 ones, I don't think do it. I'm just gonna say, Adventure in Space and Time, not a Doctor Who story. Five-ish Doctor's Reboot, not a Doctor Who story. So it's only really Day of the Doctor, Night of the Doctor, and Time of the Doctor, none of which I think are good enough to get their own crown jewel, personally. So yeah, I'll skip that out, but any other specials, I'm going to group together. I've waffled on about that for long enough, and I hope you enjoyed watching. What are your thoughts on the Five Doctors? What's your favourite bit? Leave your thoughts in the comments below, and next time, you know what I'm covering. I'm just gonna say it right now. You know what I'm covering next week or next time. I don't know. I don't know what the schedule for this series is anymore. I got really busy with exams. You know, I don't even need to say what I'm doing next time because we all know what is in that season. If you're wanting a bit of a surprise, wait for my honourable mention, but we know what's going to top that list. I'll see you then. Bye, I guess. This has been a weird ending.